of you, if not all of you, have applied for universities in the past or are planning to do soon. Have you ever wondered if there was anything besides your scores and essays that had made a university want to accept you amongst the thousands of other people who have applied? In the past year, I've applied to multiple universities which I've felt heartbreak from the rejection letters and joy from the offers that I had. After doing some research and talking to some peers, I had found that affirmative action plays a large role in the admissions process. On the University of Texas website, they have written that they implement affirmative action, also known as positive discrimination, so that their students could be in a more diverse population that is representative of the actual workforce. Many schools see this as controversial and have banned the policy in the past, and some of them have re-implemented this recently. According to the New York Times, many schools implemented the law in 2005 after they had banned the law in 1997. The University of Texas had seen that the percentage of Hispanic students in their school went from 15% to 21% from 1997 to 2011, whereas the percentage of black students who were enrolled in their school went from about 3% to 5%. Keep in mind, in this time in 2011, 45% of college-age students were Hispanic and 15% of college-age students were black. Even though the amount of schools the amount of minorities in the school increased, it did not accurately portray the amount of students that are in the actual world. However, affirmative action was not originally meant for enrolling in higher education. Perry, who wrote Affirmative Action, A Schizophrenic History, states that affirmative action is seen by most to have started in 1961 when Lyndon B. Johnson signed an executive order saying that discrimination is prohibited in the workplace. He stated that this is incorrect, and the actual use of affirmative action is first seen in 1961 when President Kennedy signed an executive order saying that discrimination was prohibited for those who applied to or worked for the federal government. President Truman, previous to this, signed an executive order that desegregated the Army. There are many court cases that have placed affirmative action into the American education system, one being Greta versus Bollinger. This case stated that affirmative action did not violate the 14th Amendment, and this case paved the path for many who had not been able to succeed because they have not had an equal opportunity in the past, and cases like these or other cases had helped them pave the path towards a more successful future. There are two viewpoints on affirmative action. One is that the admissions process should be colorblind, and the second is that the policy should continue. Anita Allen, who wrote Was I Entitled or Should I Apologize?, argues that this affirmative action was in place as a form of repayment for those who were mistreated and did not have an equal opportunity as a part of like racism and other things that had prevented them from succeeding. B.J. Tokla-Ingham argues that affirmative action had prevented himself from having an equal opportunity, and he had faked being black to go to medical school. He also argued that affirmative action portrays negative stereotypes. In conclusion, affirmative action was set in place to prevent discrimination and for everyone to have an equal opportunity in education. Although the amount of students in college is not representative of all the races we have in this diverse world, affirmative action was one step further towards achieving this goal.